Let's say you're one of the best snipers in the United States, and during a secret mission, you see an alien fall to Earth. The government wants to silence you, and the Earth is in danger. What would you do? Hey guys, this is Afraid, and you are watching The Predator. Let's get into it. In the middle of the day, an alien spaceship falls to Earth. The spaceship is led by a large alien called Predator by the humans. Meanwhile, a sniper named Quinn McKenna is on a secret mission. He must rescue hostages captured by a drug cartel. Quinn has the target in his gun sights. He just has to pull the trigger, but is distracted for a moment by the spaceship. Despite this, he kills the target, but he is in danger because the spaceship has fallen right next to his firing position. After exploding, shrapnel from the spaceship covered a large area, and Quinn had to jump to survive. After waking up, he saw everything around him burning, and after a while, he found a part of the spaceship and immediately realized that it was not human work. While he was admiring the mask of the alien, he was surprised by his colleague, Dupree. Quinn knew that no one would believe his words, so he took the mask as evidence. The mask wasn't the only toy he found. In fact, there was a type of weapon that was applied to the forearm. As soon as Quinn put it on his forearm, it adjusted to the size of his arm. In the meantime, they hear some strange noises, but they can't see anything. Suddenly, a team member is hanging upside down, with half his head cut off and deformed, not to mention his body full of deep cuts. As they look shocked at their colleague, the Predator appears for a moment and disappears again. In fact, he could turn invisible on command. They started shooting, but to no avail. They couldn't see him clearly. As Quinn was trying to get up, the weapon on his forearm activated, and some sort of blade in the shape of a circle flew, aimed at the alien. With one blow, the blade wounded the alien and cut the hanging soldier's body into parts. The soldier's blood began to flow and coat the alien's face. Quinn used the opportunity to escape and grabbed his backpack with the evidence and ran off. As he left, he discovered another ability of the technology on his arm. He pulled out a seemingly iron ball. Quinn still didn't know what it was. Meanwhile, government agent Will Traeger, along with his team, arrived to find the alien. The next day, Quinn decided to send the things found on the spaceship to his son, Rory McKenna. At first, the bartender didn't want to help him, but he changed his mind as soon as Quinn became invisible thanks to the little ball. The police were coming, and Quinn decided to ingest the ball to hide it. Quinn sent the alien's equipment to his son Rory. Rory is a 12-year-old autistic boy, which is the reason he is often bullied. Rory has very special abilities. For example, he has an excellent memory. That's why after the bullies threw chess on the ground, he remembered precisely the place of each piece. Unfortunately, he could not stand loud noises. After he arrived home from school, the letter carrier brought him the package sent by his father. So, an alien has fallen to Earth, the government has found it, and who could help but a universe enthusiast and scientist? Traeger also brings the Predator into a laboratory for experimentation and observation, recruiting evolutionary biologist Casey Brackett to study it. Meanwhile, Quinn, at the behest of government agent Will Traeger, is captured and held for examination. In truth, because Quinn has seen the alien, he has become a witness and could put the government in danger. So the goal is to detain Quinn to keep the truth from coming out. He knew no one would believe him, which is why he had taken the tools of the Predator. Tools that his son Rory received, but Rory doesn't suspect anything. In fact, he thinks it's all a game. Back at Quinn, McKenna is taken away with a group of other government prisoners, including former Marines Gaylord Nebraska Williams, Coyle, Baxley, Lynch, and Army helicopter pilot Nettles. At this point, Nebraska wants to know who McKenna was and why he was captured. McKenna, without hesitation, said directly that he saw an alien. After that, everyone has a big laugh, as was to be expected. Meanwhile, after scientist Casey is brought to the lab, she discovers that the Predator contains human DNA as part of its genetic makeup, and her main task is to find out why. Why did the Predator also contain some human DNA? In the meantime, another alien spaceship was flying through the atmosphere. It was an alien of the same species as Predator. The alien made the spaceship turn invisible to escape unwanted attention, but Rory managed to deactivate the invisibility, believing that it is all a game. In the meantime, another alien was coming to Earth. The Predator wakes up, breaks free, and kills both the lab workers and armed guards, but spares Brackett, the only unarmed person. The Predator's strength and abilities were superior to those of humans. In fact, it threw and cut human beings without any difficulty. As the Predator escapes, it is seen by the former soldiers on the bus. They thought Quinn was crazy, but now they have seen the strange creature with their own eyes. They absolutely had to stop him, but first, they had to get rid of the guards. Coyle began to tease Baxley, the guy with Tourette syndrome. After a series of jokes and insults, the guards came in and were disarmed within seconds. After that, they were thrown off the bus like bags of garbage. Once they took control of the bus, they met Casey Brackett, who was following the Predator. Casey jumped over the bus to shoot the alien, but he was faster than the bus. Quinn does not stay aside and tries to shoot the Predator with one hand with a shotgun. Not the best weapon at that distance, but it was the best he had. The Predator at one point turned around and shot the wheel of the bus to stop it. Casey, on the other hand, accidentally shot herself in the foot and paralyzed him. A member of the armed forces was following the bus and they had to get away, but Quinn didn't want to leave Casey alone. At first, he planned to save her, but seeing the armed soldier coming, he reconsiders and Casey falls to the ground. Don't think they left her there alone. They found motorcycles and went back to get her and stop the soldier who had been ordered to kill her. In the meantime, a convoy of soldiers was heading towards the laboratory to stop the Predator, but the latter made their task easier by coming alone to them. In a few moments, the Predator neutralized all the soldiers inside, and when the driver asked if everything was alright, the Predator took a broken hand from a soldier and showed his thumb up. At this moment, you can understand that it was not their first visit to Earth, since he knew this gesture was used by humans. But by now, he wasn't the only alien on Earth. The second one, even taller and bigger, had landed and wanted to find something. In fact, he had his alien dogs sniff a piece of fabric. The group of former soldiers, along with scientist Casey, stopped at a house. At first, Casey, after waking up next to a coffee and various gifts, wanted to leave. But later, she realized they all had the same goal, to stop the Predator. But they didn't know yet that there was more than one. Suddenly, Quinn remembers that he had sent the Predator's equipment to his son Rory, who would be in danger. Rory, on the other hand, doesn't suspect a thing. In fact, he put on the mask as a Halloween costume. Once worn, Rory is able to see many things about the aliens of the Predator species. Before long, Quinn and the others in the group arrived at the home of his wife Emily, with whom they were divorced. In the meantime, Rory was out asking for candy, as all children did on Halloween Day. Arriving at a house, he rang the door, but no one answered. Shortly after, a young fellow came out to the balcony and threw an apple at Rory's head. Soon after, the mask activated the self-defense system and tore the guy and the house to pieces. After that, he took off to a baseball field, while everyone was looking for him to save him from the Predator. As he stood alone in the lighted field, a dog approached him. McKenna finds his son, just in time to stop a pair of Predator dogs from ambushing the boy. Apparently, the weapons didn't seem to do too much damage to the alien dogs, except for a grenade launcher. Quinn fired a grenade directly into a dog's stomach and caused it to explode. They thought it was over, but they were wrong. The Predator chases them to a nearby school, and they begin to return the Predator's armor when another Predator, much larger and more powerful, arrives and engages the first in combat. It was 10 feet tall and frighteningly developed. The smaller alien tried to attack him, but he looked like a child. The group flees, and the second Predator kills the first before leaving to retrieve the lost technology parts. Brackett concludes that Predators are attempting to improve themselves with the DNA of humans and, presumably, inhabitants of other planets. She states that the larger Predator generates an exoskeleton that makes it highly resistant to damage, even from Predator technology weapons. Nettles found an alien dog that didn't seem aggressive at all. They decide to let it live, because in a moment, it might be useful. The team flees to an abandoned barn, but Traeger finds and captures them, and shares his theory that the Predators predict that climate change will end their ability to recover human DNA for further hybridization, and as such, are trying to recover samples before it's too late. Seeing Rory draw a map to the spaceship, Traeger takes the boy away to go to the ship. Quinn and the team escape and chase after him. First, however, Quinn urgently needs to go to the bathroom. After that, he retrieved the ball that can make him invisible. Traeger and his team were already inspecting the ship as they received information about the arrival of Quinn and the rest of the team. Traeger realizes shortly thereafter that Quinn had created a diversion, but it was already too late. Quinn, unseen, was inside the spaceship and neutralized Sapir with a shot in the eye. He left Traeger alive, hitting him with the weapon. A smart move, because they had to get out, and they could only do it with Traeger as a hostage. Once they got outside, Traeger ordered to shoot Rory's leg if in 10 seconds, Quinn wouldn't lower his weapon. In the meantime, the main Predator had arrived and wounded poor Lynch. After that, he killed several soldiers and eventually entered the spaceship. The Predator explains through translation software that he will destroy the ship to keep it out of their hands, and thus give them an advantage before he hunts them down. In addition, he said he would take the true warrior and leader of them, named McKenna, to take his DNA. After arranging to run away, the Predator exited the ship and blew it up. The time to escape was over, and the Predator quickly kills several of Traeger's soldiers, while mortally wounding both Baxley and Coyle, who then kill each other. Traeger attempts to use a Predator weapon on the alien, but accidentally kills himself in the process. The Predator called out to McKenna, and Quinn approached, thinking he was the one he wanted, but the creature caught him and threw him away. Actually, the Predator wanted Rory McKenna. The Predator picks up Rory, recognizing his autism as an advancement in human evolution that makes him a worthy subject for hybridization, and flies off in his ship. McKenna, Nebraska, and Nettles land on the outside of the ship, but the Predator activates a force field that cuts off Nettles' legs, killing him. Nebraska sacrifices himself and slips into the ship's turbine, causing it to crash. McKenna sneaks into the ship as it crashes and attacks the Predator. After the crash, Brackett arrives, and the three manage to overpower and kill the Predator with their own weapons. As a reminder of each member of their team who had sacrificed themselves to stop the Predator, Quinn kept an object representing a person in a handkerchief. Sometime later, McKenna and Rory are seen in a science lab looking at the opening of cargo found on the Predator ship, which a scientist indicates was left on purpose. A piece of technology floats by and attaches itself to a lab worker, working as a transformative Predator killer suit. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then find out how a mother had to die to reunite with her son in the afterlife.